Certainly do think he can threaten. For him, I think it's just a case of playing consistent tennis week in, week out, staying healthy, so he gives himself a chance to get match fit and match tough.
All right, well, it is Leighton Hewitt serving to begin this first round match against Alves from Brazil. As we hand you over to your commentators, Wally, you will be one of them, and Josh Eagle.
Thanks very much, guys. That's right, Leighton Hewitt serving first here in this first round matchup against Thiago Alves. Out here on the grandstand, sensational court to play, plenty of atmosphere. Alves ranked 106 in the world, Hewitt at 32. Alves primarily on the challenger level tour. Big step up in class here against former Grand Slam champion in Leighton Hewitt, that's for sure. So it's a confident start for Hewitt, holding serve to love. And I agree with what you're saying there earlier, Wally. You would have to think that Alves probably lacks any sort of weapons to hurt Hewitt in a 5-set match. It's okay in a best of 3, but not in a best of 5-set match. It's a completely different ball game against a quality player.
Oh, just have a look at Leighton's Grand Slam record, his Davis Cup record over 5 sets. He's just, even the last couple of years when he hasn't been playing his best tennis and he's had a few injuries, over 5 sets he's still a very tough proposition and takes the best players in the world to beat him. His whole personality and his whole mentality and the fact that he's trained so hard over all these years just really sets him up well for best of 5-set tennis, I believe. He concentrates well for long periods of time and he just doesn't go away in terms of competing.
Love 30.
I was just talking about Nathan Healy in his corner too. I think Leighton likes to get a bit of energy out of his coaching box, and that's something that Nathan will certainly supply. He feeds off the people in his support crew.
I agree with you. He's a good asset. He's enthusiastic, very fit, physically strong. That's the one shot Leighton Hewitt probably
15-30.
needed to start hitting a little earlier in his career. Would have made a lot more money, I think.
See, that's a good mindset, those last 2 points. He missed the backhand down the line by a matter of inches, and there you saw him try to control the point from the very get-go, and that's pretty much what you would expect on this faster hard court. Earlier in his career, Leighton very much relied on his legs just to track a lot of balls down, and he was just so fast, just such a great counter-puncher, but the speed of the game keeps improving.
He became a little predictable, didn't he?
There was a period there where he did, and I think over the last say year and a half, he's playing more aggressive tennis.
I just think that for someone, Wally, who's got such a quality backhand that he has, he can hit that backhand down the line. He just found it hard to change the direction of it. He can do it.
He'd been so successful too, and I mean, that was a blueprint for success, and his personality is to counterpunch. So he had to kind of step out of his comfort zone to a degree, and we know that he's a great volleyer too, and that was something that we kept looking for. to Alves' confidence. Some good, nice feeling when you're controlling the point, as he is here. That was the shot there that did the damage. And don't they just love hitting the off forehand with these Western grips?
Gee,
that's exactly where they want it.
That's a real extreme forehand grip. Full Western. Don't see too many full Westerns anymore.
Advantage Alves.
That's the problem with the full Western, isn't it? When the ball shoots through or stays a little lower on the forehand side, very hard to get underneath it.
Well, Leighton has a good slice backhand too, and I'd be interested to see if he starts to use that a little bit this afternoon, and in particular that inside-out slice down the line where the low ball with slice is running away from that extreme forehand grip. And the slice in that rally paid dividends. He got a real floated reply, but opted not to volley it. Would have thought he could have come in behind the forehand after the slice there from Hewitt. Wasn't the case. Still a little bit of nerves there, I think, for Leighton. Not quite settling into this match.
Yes.
Well, I think Alves, he's not so sure about his volley, so the two times that he's had to approach, he's gone for so much. I don't think he wants to hit a volley. I think he'd rather hit a winner.
I like this play. He's got a good ability to take the ball early. Haven't seen it a lot in his career, but he can do it from both the forehand and the backhand side, taking time away from his opponent.
The thing about Leighton, I mean, you and I have both seen him practice a lot. He can do so much on the court, but he doesn't always choose to do it in a match. He's got a great drop shot too, but you don't see it a lot.
That's a positive start for Hewitt. Gets the break and leads 2 games to love here on the grandstand.
Hewitt leads.
He's looking pretty good here, Hewitt. Good start, 2-love. I think you're right, well, he's one of those players that doesn't need to hit for weeks and weeks. He comes out onto the practice court and from sort of the first 5 minutes he hits the ball so cleanly off the middle of the racket. What he does very well against these lower ranked players, puts a lot of pressure on their service games by making endless amounts of returns. He just builds that pressure. A lot of those guys ranked around that level, around 100 or just outside. They're not used to that amount of balls coming back.
Well, that's what you have to do, isn't it, to have a great career? You have to clean up all the lesser-ranked players, and that's what he's had a great knack of doing.
Yeah, he doesn't lose often to lower-ranked players, and that's the sign of a class player.
Even over the last few years when he wasn't playing his best tennis, you have a look at the guy, it invariably takes a pretty good player to beat him. I mean, of course, he's had a few upsets along the way, but in general...
I think especially at Grand Slams where it's over 5 sets.
No, he's not going to...
You can see him getting hit off the court occasionally in a best-of-3 set shootout, but not over 5 sets. He doesn't lose to too many lower-ranked players, that's for sure.
Game Hewitt.
So Leighton Hewitt holding serve to love and leading 3 games to love.
3 games to love.
Bernie?
Love 15. All.
119 miles out wide, and Alves is using the same racket as Nadal uses, pretty powerful racket. And I think that's the big thing about the modern rackets and the technology is everybody can generate a fair bit of power.
30,
You don't even have to rely necessarily on great technique. The racket can do a lot of work for you. The control then becomes the question. Doing it consistently.
Well, I think most of the modern day players might have a challenge here. There is Hawkeye out on grandstand. No challenge. Most of the players at this level will choose the most powerful racket they feel they can use. Might lose a bit of control initially, but if they can work with it for a week or so on the practice court, and eventually get the control down pat. Probably fair to say, Wally, that some of the players would even give up maybe 5% of control to gain an extra 10% of power.
Yeah,
that's how the game's played, and that's the modern day equipment, isn't it?
and I would say that's very much true of the players, say, ranked between, say, 20 and 100. But the top players, they have the power and the control
and the skill,
the defensive skills, and it all comes together.
Rock solid. Hewitt gets another break. Just making Alves play that extra volley.
But don't you think that's amazing? I mean, we saw him in a previous service game. He missed 2 approaches because he didn't want to hit a volley. He just hit the approach so hard it was either going to be a winner or out, and hit it out, as it turned out. Now, the chest-high backhand volley, that's considered about the easiest volley in the game, and he made an absolute mess of that, Alves, and you just can't help but think, why wouldn't he have hit a few in his junior days just to take advantage of that good forehand?
Well, the game's changed.
Isn't that amazing that he couldn't spend just a little bit of time just to get a tidy volley? I mean, he didn't even want to hit that.
No, he didn't.
That hit the bottom of the net.
Bottom of the net when he was sitting on top of it.
Extraordinary.
15 love.
So there's one whole dimension that he's taken away in terms of winning points, Alves.
Smart though from Hewitt to make him play.
Well, he's going to do that, isn't he?
As you'd expect. It's barely missed a shot.
30 love.
To say he's looking very impressive here, Hewitt. Just throwing in a serve volley point as well. Don't often see that, but good to see him chancing his arm.
Just shows though he didn't quite get the cut on the ball, he didn't get the placement, so Alves didn't have to move, and as a consequence Leighton just had no time to get to the net. Something that's not often spoken about really as a strength, but the funny thing about Leighton, when he had days and weeks and tournaments where he served really well, he got a lot of free points off that first serve in particular, and not a bad ace server either.
So Leighton Hewitt on the grandstand court here at the US Open has raced away here to a 5 games to love lead.
Maybe just a little underdone. Didn't play particularly well last week to really threaten, but you never know.
Love 15.
He's certainly one of the best shot makers in the game, Gasquet. And isn't it good to see Nadal back? I mean, I just think he's a champion. I mean, he's a champion player, but I think he's a champion bloke. Just fantastic the way he conducts himself on and off the court.
Well, I'm just staggered at how quickly things have turned around. He had such a great year last year. He was world #1 going into that French Open, then all of a sudden he loses to Robin Soderling, doesn't play Wimbledon, and then, boy, hasn't Federer capitalised. Just pounced on the opportunity.
Well, it's almost as if the likes of Djokovic and Nadal are half dead trying to catch Federer. They've almost knocked themselves out. And there's Hewitt there, nice little move. You notice the abbreviated backswing, just taking the ball on the rise, and that's what you can do here at the US Open. You get a bit of pace to work with off the court.
Well, this is actually quite a simple play for a double-hander who can just meet the ball out in front. I'd like to see him do more of that. Love 40, 3 set points here for Hewitt.
Game at first set. Hewitt, 6 games to love.
A fairly impressive start here for Leighton Hewitt. Wraps up the first set, 22 minutes. That's good. Very little court time. Not sort of taking much out of the body. That's what.
I don't think he'll be doing that too often. I think he's got to rely on Leighton just to come off the boil a bit.
15 love. Love.
Just looking a little shell-shocked, isn't he? Alves, he's searching for answers.
Well, as I said, unless Leighton loses a bit of concentration or drops his level, you just wonder what Alves can do differently. And the good players, like Hewitt, they're prepared for the major tournaments. They don't come in with a bad attitude, so it's very tough to see what Alves can do to turn this around quickly.
40-15. Game Hewitt. Leave off, please.
Another easy service game for Hewitt. 6 love, 1 love.
First game,
Wally
second
early
set.
in the day you were talking about the first serve statistic. The first serve of Leighton Hewitt. Let's check out the set one summary. Hewitt barely losing points, really.
Well, look at that first serve percentage of Hewitt at 54, but you know, that's quite common for Leighton. But what he does have a knack of is getting a lot of cheap points off his first serve. And I've had that argument with Darren Cahill over the years, who likes that play. I've always been a bit more getting a high percentage of first serves in, but when Hewitt is serving well, even though he doesn't serve a high first serve percentage, he gets a lot of free points.
Love 15.
Well, the ball, Hewitt's holding his ground nicely on the baseline, so the ball's just coming back too quickly for Alves. He just can't get his house in order on a lot of these ground shots. Can't get organised quickly enough.
That shot there is really about the only way that Alves is going to hurt Hewitt. He's really got to take some chances now. He's down a set. Be prepared to risk a little more on the forehand side. Just try and get Hewitt back in the court on the defence. He's 27 years old, so he's been around for quite some time. It's not as if he's really going to change his game or develop something at this stage of his career. I think his only chance is to just try and unload a few forehands. Gets a big cheer here on the grandstand. He gets his name on the scoreboard. 1-1, second set.
Well, I think he heard you, Josh. He did unload just gave a bit extra to a couple of forehands there, paid dividends, some good depth. Yeah, there's no point playing safely, is there, anymore for Alves? I mean, he's really got to throw caution to the wind and try to play above himself.
It's just very hard to push Leighton Hewitt around. And I think that's what you've got to do. If the moment Hewitt gets set, if he's there in position to make the shot, he barely misses. So just got to create a little bit of doubt. The Hewitt game, go for it and then push him around.
Love 15.
We talk about a loss of concentration. It's not uncommon. Hewitt winning that first set 6-love. He's up 1-love in the second, and you change ends and you just go for a bit of a walkabout mentally.
Let's talk about the fact that Leighton Hewitt is working with Nathan Healy. Does that mean there's no more Tony Roach?
Well, yeah, look, that's my understanding. And I think Leighton was looking for somebody to be on the tour constantly with him. And Nathan's available to do that. Tony wasn't. I think it was all very amicable, obviously. So just a couple of errors now for Hewitt. And I think the thing that you've got to remember with Tony, not only was he Hewitt's coach over the last couple of years, but He's had a long association with him because, of course, when Leighton started to play Davis Cup for Australia, around that 17, 18 years of age, he was involved with the squad. Tony was obviously a big part of that as the coach with John Newcombe, and they had a lot to do with helping Leighton make that transition from great junior to great senior. Been a big influence on him over the years. A few forehand errors here for Hewitt, but it's really the depth
30-40.
of Alves that has caused him a few problems. Just going for a little bit more, Alves. Better depth. Drawing a few errors.
Deuce.
Good save here. He's got a sneaky serve, Leighton Hewitt. He's very accurate.
He serves well when he's actually not trying to serve aces. When he just serves within himself and sort of more line or length. When he starts to try to get cheap points, that's when he can start to lose his rhythm. It's not uncommon. He's a good ace server.
Yeah, it's the accuracy, isn't it?
When he doesn't feel under threat from the back of the court and he doesn't try to overserve, he can actually
Crack it.
post some pretty good numbers in the ace department. But if he's under the pump from the back of the court, then he wants free points, and that's when he can come unstuck.
Deuce.
So definitely a little lapse in concentration here for Hewitt. I know when he was working with Tony, Tony was working quite a bit on that, the shape of his second serve. Leighton likes to come around the side of the ball. He likes to cut the second serve and slice it wide or down the tee on the backhand side. And Tony, of course, was much keener on getting Leighton to hit a heavy kick serve on the second, a la Pat Rafter. There's a nice play.
Advantage Hewitt.
So just have a look at Hewitt here on the forehand. Good court position inside the baseline. Didn't overplay. It was very much an approach, looking for a volley. And there was a bit more of a kick serve, a three-quarter kick serve into the body.
Hewitt leads.
A little bit of a struggle there for Hewitt, but serves his way out of trouble. Some time, a while for that to come right. You almost suggest that I like that play, just inside the court, abbreviating the swing and taking it on the rise. But you'd almost suggest that, you know, expecting him to beat Gonzalez, I sort of was. I thought he could, but it was probably unrealistic, given that he'd had that hip surgery, and it was really only until he won Houston about a month prior to the French Open that he was probably fit enough, strong enough to win 5 matches in a week, back it up, win a tournament, and start to get the confidence. And since then, he's been on a nice roll. So as much as anything, it was getting the strength back in that hip and the confidence back.
I think the real key for Hewitt to get his career back where he believes he should be, and that would be at least top 20, he really has to do well here to get a lot of points in the remainder of the year, just so he can be seeded every week he plays. Otherwise, it makes it too difficult, I think. There's too many good players out there now that you can lose to if you're not seeded. You just have to work too hard. I think Leighton Hewitt does have to work too hard if he's to get back into the top 10 if he's not seeded. 2 break points here.
Well, the game that he held serve previously, he rifled a couple of forehands deep and hit a couple of winners, and that's sort of what he has to do. Now here he's just missed one down the line and one long, so he's probably going to be upset with himself, but I don't think there's any other way forward for Alves. Has to play a bit more hit and miss, try to upset Hewitt's rhythm and try to control a few points and hit some cold winners off that forehand wing.
Gifting Hewitt a break here.
But once again, nice to see him skipping around looking for a forehand. Alves is aware of that, and the second time he served a double fault and gained points.
3 games to 1.
Right, 6-3-1. Just highlights Alves. There's a reason why he's ranked 106 in the world. It's very one-dimensional stuff, isn't it? Just hasn't got anywhere to go from here. He hasn't got game plan B, unfortunately. It's just all one-way traffic. I think what it does highlight is the importance of the junior programs. If you're a good junior, you've got to develop your volleys. You have to these days. That's why Federer is so successful.
Well, you need a few strings to your bow, don't you? You need different ways to win points.
You know, you look at Leighton Hewitt. Yes, he doesn't come in a lot, but when he does, he can execute. He really can. You know, even Nadal, he likes
gets the job done.
Yeah, likes to play 5 metres behind the baseline, but still working on staying up on that baseline. Still working on making the volley when he comes in.
Alves is challenging the call on the left.
First challenge.
The ball's called good.
Here on the grandstand from Thiago Alves. He thinks it's long. No out. And he's right.
Oh, jeez. Come on.
It's hard to believe.
0.5 of a millimetre.
Hard to believe that the computer knows that.
Ready, 15. Thirty.
That's not going to work. Leighton Hewitt in cruise control here on the grandstand. He leads 6-love. And with a break, 4 games to 1.
Taking too much out of himself, getting confidence.
He's able to try a few things. So when he does come up against against hopefully someone like Roger Federer, which potential third-round matchup here, he's able to implement that.
Well, there was a little slice there from Hewitt, and very deliberate, landing it on the service line, but just with nothing on it. The ball stayed very low, and Alves with the big Western grip, he finds it tough to get under that. You talk about Alves, what's he ranked? 106. He's 27 years of age. I mean, for people that watch tennis infrequently, they probably wonder, where does a guy like this come from? And there's just a whole subculture on the Challenger Tour. It's just another world where you have players that spend the majority of their careers just battling away in the smaller tournaments, the Challengers, not really playing the ATP Tour proper. And there again, just showing us no real feel at the net. And look, for example, Alves.
He's only played 5 matches on the tour all year.
Yeah, and he's only had 1 victory at tour level, but he can still sustain a ranking of around 100 at Challenger level.
Well, that means he's winning a lot of matches at the Challenger level.
Yeah, but he's just it's two very different tiers, isn't it?
Big step up in class. Oh, that's good, yeah.
Once again, great court position.
I think what it does highlight in today's ranking system is you need to be pretty close to top 50 because you are guaranteed to get in all the 1,000 series, which is formerly called the Masters series. There's 9 of those throughout the year, and then you're guaranteed to get in the Grand Slams. If you sort of rank 70 towards 100, you actually struggle getting in, week out at the tour level.
And the points are so loaded in those big tournaments in the thousands that if you can just win a couple of matches there, that you have to win about 15 challenges to make that up.
Yeah. That's what Peter Lutzak's done. That's good. Saves 1 break point, Alves.
30-40.
The nets are just strung so tightly here at the US Open. You won't see a dead net court. Everything sits up pretty nicely. Bit of a disadvantage to clip the tape off a ground stroke rally.
Leighton Hewitt has barely missed a ball today. 6-love, 5-1.
Alves is challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball's called good.
Well, I think too that Alves, he doesn't hit the ball badly, but he doesn't hit it with a lot of spin, so it's actually coming back quite nicely into Leighton's hitting zone. So even when he does unload on a forehand, it's not really getting above Hewitt's shoulders, and he's dealing with it well. Oh, that's cleaned the line. That's wishful thinking.
Yeah, it's shot through.
Well, he might as well. He's in all sorts of trouble.
Hewitt leads 5
So you get 3 challenges per set.
Alves has 2 challenges remaining.
Serving for a 2-sets-to-love lead. Leighton Hewitt.
Love. all.
The first time all match we've seen Alves go back in behind Leighton Hewitt.
One of the few occasions we've seen him sort of jump on a backhand too and take it on the rise.
That's the shot that you see, the likes of Safin, Djokovic Murray have such good success against Hewitt. The double-hander down the line. Opening up the court well with it. So Hewitt brings up set point here. Chance to take a 2-sets-to-love lead.
Use.
Well, 2 forehands in a row. Haven't seen
Advantage
the
Alves.
unforced from that side all match.
Positive error there. Stepping up in the court, taking the ball on the rise. Shot was there to hit.
Left for serve.
So Alves gets a break here. First one of the match for him.
Hewitt leads 5 games to 2.
6-love,
Second set,
5-2.
1 set to love. Left for serve.
He's missed a couple of volleys today, Hewitt, on the backhand
51.
side. Just probably catching it a little late. Needs to go out and probably move it out in front a little more.
Well, I think he was almost in two minds there.
He loves a drop shot.
Yeah, he loves the drop shot, and the off backhand volley was on, so I think he just hesitated a fraction there. Made the wrong choice. Well, you can see just generating a lot more racket head speed all of a sudden, Alves, so maybe early nerves starting to leave him. The fact that he's got a few games on the scoreboard, just growing in confidence and just starting to unload on that forehand side, and that's certainly what he has to do.
Thirty 15.
There it is again, the wrong footing shot. That's his preferred angle on the forehand.
He loves to step back away from the shot, doesn't he, and go off on the forehand.
Well, that's the way the guys love to hit the ball on the forehand now, isn't it? Their elbows tucked into their body, extreme grip. Racket hit trails.
$40-30.
A little bit of extra spring in his step. Alves, haven't seen that all match.
Game
Alves holds on. He has attacked the forehand side of Hewitt a little in the last 5 or 10 minutes. He's certainly gone more to the Hewitt forehand than he has in the first set and a half. Just drawing a few more unforced errors from Hewitt.
Alves is challenging the call on the right baseline.
Going to challenge. Invariably, they have a look at their coaching, or the coach or the support crew seem to get a nod if it's worth a challenge. Well, doing okay.
Good challenge.
Replay the point.
There's a nice move there from Hewitt.
Called out. Hewitt thinks it's clearly in.
This is well in.
Challenging the call on the left far sideline. The ball's called out.
Yeah, quick to jump on the linesman, Wally. I thought it was wide. Or maybe not.
Just wonder how he could miss that. That is smack on the line, going no miles an hour, about 15 feet in front of his nose.
On the outside of the line. But that's in. Well, Hewitt
15 love.
very confident in that challenge. Well done.
Good to see. Once again, great court position. He's got his man backpedaling and not overplaying the approach.
Yeah, it's his bread and butter play, isn't it, for Hewitt? The off forehand, steal time away from his opponent.
$40 love.
Triple set point here for Leighton Hewitt. 122 miles an hour. He's been very accurate on serve today.
Second set here.
So Leighton Hewitt
6-3
wraps up the second set.
By 2 sets to love.
1 hour of play. He leads 2 sets to love. 6-love, 6-3. So there's been a few upsets today.
Doesn't have any sort of ability to improvise, and we've seen him a couple of times on the volley. Just doesn't seem to have any feel in his hands. And you've got to have ways, different ways to win points. Now, the drop shot was on, but that actually bounced before the net. So many of the clay quarters, and you'd expect from Brazil, who spent a fair bit of time on the clay, so many of the clay quarters, they have that great ability to line up as though they're going to nail a forehand, and then they just come under the ball and play that drop shot with their opponent backpedaling. Gee, that John Eisner, you mentioned he's 6'10", he serves like Ivo Karlovic, but he's probably better off the ground. He's certainly someone the guys wouldn't want to run into.
He's had a good summer too. Eisner probably lacking a little bit of the athletic ability that Ivo Karlovic possesses, but boy, if he gets on a rhythm with that serve, he's tough to stop. Alves has made 2 Challenger finals in the last month on the hard courts at the Challenger level down in Cordoba in Spain and over in Brazil. So he should be relatively confident, played enough matches coming in here. Different league though, I guess, when taking on a former Grand Slam champion, Hewitt.
That's a super return. That is such a good return, because you've got to consider that the server on a second serve is throwing the ball over his head, so he's falling away to his backhand side. Hewitt just jumps on the return, the off backhand. He was nowhere near that.
Deuce.
That's one of the few occasions where Leighton hasn't cut the angle off. You could see there he just moved laterally, didn't move forward to the swinging serve, and as a consequence he just gets dragged wider and wider in the court. No forward momentum on the ball, tough to control. When he plays a slice, he just gets under the ball. He really does parachute the backhand slice. Alves just all spin and no penetration. Sitting up nicely there for Hewitt.
He doesn't get his racket face even close to vertical upon impact on that slice, does he? He's so open.
Just cuts right under the ball.
Yeah, needs to reassess his grip a little bit.
27, it might be a bit late.
It is quite amazing how many of the current players, when they go to hit that slice, how open they are upon impact. They're almost floating. I guess Federer is one of the few guys that can really knife it, stick it. for
Game
Hewitt
Hewitt.
with a break.
New ball
The fist
squeeze.
pump.
First game, third set.
2 sets to love and a break.
Once again, good to see Hewitt stepping up in the court, particularly on a few second serves and just taking charge. Nice and early in the point.
Just checking on set 2 stats.
Well, once again, the first serve percentage for Hewitt. Not quite what he would like, but not uncommon. 5 aces, 3 double faults, and 12 winners, double the amount of Alves. Both players with a similar amount of unforced errors, but Hewitt certainly with more forced errors. We've seen that on numerous occasions where he takes the ball early and moves forward, just denying Alves any sort of time on the pass. He's doing it pretty comfortably really at the moment, Hewitt. Pretty good breakpoint conversion. New balls now. Just really, I think, it mattered, Josh, for Leighton just to hold his concentration more than anything.
He's really just probably got to clock in another good 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he'll be back in the locker room, you'd think, at this stage of the game. Oh, it's good. Held his ground well here, Alves. Because this was a pretty handy slice from Hewitt.
Well, I thought this would give Alves all sorts of trouble. There's that off slice we were talking about, low ball going away. Strong Western grip from Alves, but he does well here.
He's pretty strong. He loads well on that right leg and just powers through the shot. Able to generate a fair bit of pace and spin.
Oh,
30-15.
Leighton threw that ball about a foot to his right. It was always going to be an angled serve, but just placed so well, Alves couldn't do much with that. That was old school, that serve. Coming right around the outside of the ball.
Yeah, he does serve to strange patterns, Hewitt. He's not one of these guys that hits every second serve to the backhand side. He likes to sneak it down the tee on the second court, out wide on the first court.
Well, he's probably a bit more right shoulder around
31.
left shoulder as opposed to over left shoulder when he serves than a lot of the modern players.
Shoulder over shoulder, they call it.
So he tends to hit the outside of the ball a bit more.
Gives you less margin.
Yeah, and he can get into the serve a few double faults on the second when things get a bit tight.
40-30.
Good serve on the hard courts here though at the US Open. It really does take slice. Todd Woodbridge, the Australian Davis Cup coach, he was telling me he's having a bit of a hit out there the other day with Chris Guccione. He said it's fast, lively, quick conditions. Anytime the sun's out and the air is warm, the balls are really travelling through the air very quickly.
Yes.
I had dinner with one of the players last night, and he told me, Wally, that it was as slow as he's ever seen it at this year's US Open. We better check in with Todd Woodbridge.
Advantage, Hewitt. Yes.
nice skill there from Hewitt. The third shot of that rally, the defensive backhand slice. The ball was almost behind him. Just great feel with his hands to get it across court at the right pace to get himself back in the rally.
He's also standing up a lot closer to the baseline than...
And isn't that a must?
And it's good to see. He understands that he's got to do it.
You just have to work too hard. Once you're 3 or 4 metres behind the baseline, you just have to cover too much territory.
Game, Hewitt.
So Hewitt holding serve, 2 sets to love and a 2-love lead in the third set.
One thing that it surprised me a little bit last year with Nadal's US Open campaign. I mean, he was struggling a bit with sore knees, but he played Murray, and he was so deep in the court. But we'd seen him at Wimbledon play relatively close to the baseline, but for whatever reasons, maybe the lighter balls being a bit quicker through the air here, he was flat that day. He was unable to hold court position, and on the hard courts at the US Open, it's a must. Really got to try to take the ball on the rise when possible.
Well, he did it so well a couple of weeks before that, didn't he, at the Olympics?
Yeah, I think maybe just the volume of tennis had
caught up with him.
Yeah. Just showing us the versatility that he does have. We don't see it that often. But he's got a great pair of hands lately. You mentioned the fact that he's won this doubles title here with Max Mooney. You know, he's got good skills at the net. He's got soft hands.
Well, I think he finds it harder these days to have the time to play these sort of shots. The pace has increased over the last 5 or 6 years.
Love 30.
Big difference between these two players, isn't there, in their defensive skills? When Hewitt's dragged wide or he's got to block a ball back, he does it.
Does it with ease.
He does it with ease, no question about it. He puts the ball in the right spots and at the right pace to buy a bit of time to get back in the court.
Repair point. Fifteen 30.
Two good wrong footing forehands there, but set up with quality first serves.
30.
So really a last stand here for Alves. If he goes down 2 breaks here in the third, could be over very quickly.
Time to get his flight to Brazil tonight. He's lucky.
30-14.
Break point here. Opportunity for Hewitt to take a double break in this third set. So Hewitt gets the double break and leads 3 games to love third set and a 2 sets to love break.
Hewitt leads 3 games to love, third set, 2 sets to love.
Out of this match, but the fact is that Leighton has stood up on the baseline. He's taken a lot of second serves early. He's been pretty positive. He's moved to the net on numerous occasions, and you get the feeling that he's playing the type of game that he knows that he's going to need later on in the tournament. So good signs for Hewitt, and seems to be timing the ball awfully well. Can't really recall one mishit ball from Hewitt. It's come out of the middle.
30 love. Love.
He needs time, doesn't he, Alves? He really needs time to execute.
Well, that's good stuff from Hewitt.
Hewitt leads 4 games to love, third set.
4 games to love lead. 2 sets to love.
Love 15. Love 13.
Oh, it's unravelling all too quickly here for Alves.
Love 40.
Take great delight in trying to win the set. 6 love, Leighton Hewitt. Fairly ruthless performance so far.
$15, 40.
Oh, it's great running from Hewitt, but not able to get that one. Alves going for absolutely everything here and just finishing it nicely with a
30,
well
40.
executed drop shot. Hewitt just couldn't quite get there in time. Still with a break point.
Yes.
A couple of big serves here from Alves.
Advantage Alves.
At the right time, chance to get on the scoreboard in this third set. So 3 break points, Alves, but it's all Leighton Hewitt as he leads 2 sets to love and 4-1 in the
15 love. All. 30-15.
Just too solid today, Leighton Hewitt. Very few unforced errors. Right from the start of the match, he's been seeing the ball well. Doing it very cleanly. Hewitt. A 6-love, 6-3, 5-1 lead.
Hewitt leads 5 games to 1.
He spent an hour and a half on court today, being urged on by the fanatics. Hasn't really dug the heels in. Hasn't really shown much fight throughout this match. Good skills from Hewitt. Good balance, that's for sure.
15-30.
So now just 2 points away. How often you see a let cord like this at the US Open? Normally the ball tends to pop up.
Hewitt is challenging the ball on the right.
Will challenge, but
the ball's called good.
he doesn't look too convinced. Just catching the outside of the line. 30 all.
30 all. Hewitt has to challenge the win.
Oh, great point from Alves. Heavy hitting from the back, moves forward.
40-30.
Haven't seen Great hands all day at the net from Alves, but this one, very clinical.
Alves.
So Alves stays alive.
Here it leads.
Hewitt,
5 games to
2 sets to
two.
love and 5-2.
Left 15.
They're just trying to pepper the backhand here. The backhand volley of Alves. Probably going there one too many times. I'm just in a little bit of trouble trying to close this match out. Love 30. Good wheels from Hewitt, but Alves just throwing a little more variation into this match deep in the third set. Just wondering where this was in the first 2 sets. Hewitt facing a break point here, trying to close this match out. So Alves gets one of the breaks back.
Hewitt leads.
It's still all late in Hewitt. 6-love, 6-3 and 5-3 with a break.
15 love. Fifteen all.
Seen it so often in his career, Leighton Hewitt, one of the best lobs going round. Excellent disguise.
15-30.
Great accuracy here. Alves just charging forward with no idea. Hewitt with a fair bit of luck in this let court here. It was in control. Brings up 2 match points.
15-14.
He's challenging.
Hewitt is challenging the ball on the right, far sideline. The ball's called out.
He's almost walking to the net as if it was good. He thought it was good. And just wide. So Alves
30-14.
saves the first match point.
Hewitt has 1 challenge remaining.
And again. Served quite well being down break points today, Alves. Classy return from Hewitt. The off backhand brings up match point number 3.
Yes. Advantage, Alves.
Serve volley from Alves. Hold serve. But it's all Leighton Hewitt. 2 sets to love. And when we come back, he will serve for the match. Start here for Hewitt. Very keen to wrap it up after having match points in the previous game and trying to serve it out the game before that. Once again, Alves, deep in this match, refusing to miss.
15-all.
Oh, 15-30 now. Hewitt. Just can't quite get the job done just yet.
15-30. Let to serve.
Just when Alves is starting to make some inroads here, comes up with an unforced error.
30-all.
So Hewitt just searching for a couple of good, solid first serves to try and wrap this match up. Doesn't matter how easy the scoreline is, it's always hard to close out that last game. Oh, it's good. Gets the first serve that he needed. Opens up the court beautifully with this double-handed backhand and brings up a match point on serve now. The fourth match point for Hewitt. Well, that was a little un-Hewitt-like.
Yes.
Got the short forehand, just didn't accelerate through the shot. Number 2 on serve here for Hewitt. No problems this time for Hewitt. Leighton Hewitt is through to the second round at this year's US Open. 6-love, 6-3, 6-4 over Thiago Alves from Brazil. Did it comfortably today. The 31st seed. Really only had to work deep in that third set to close it out. Alves quick to exit the scene. Leighton Hewitt would be very happy with his start to this year's US Open.